see. I'm going live. It moved. It moved again. Okay. We are up.
We're up?
Well, not yet. I lied. There it goes. We are live.
We are live. Let's start this show out rocking. Let's see if it works. There we go, right? I had to do that today, people. I think that we want to talk about some good vibrations. How many of us need to talk about good vibrations? I just think that that's a great topic. Trying to go and think of what to do and what to talk about. And he always has these amazing ideas, and I just shoot them all down, I guess, and say, no, let's talk about vibrations today. What do you think, Annie?
Yep, I had 9 million ideas. Not even one this morning.
Well, for those of you who I always love to start with Bible verse and Psalms. How can you go wrong in Psalms 46? How can you ever go wrong with Psalms 46, verse 1? God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. How do we look upon life as trouble, or do we look upon good as, that aspects of positive thinking? There's some huge implications with positive thinking, but today I was wanting to, and I do need to go and pull up the chat. Otherwise, we're going to have to rely upon Annie to keep me informed of what's going on the chat line, because what happens is I just get talking and I completely forget about it. So it looks like I am live, and there we go. We'll pull it up, and at least I'm hoping to pull it up, and then that way we will. Good, I'm live. And we have already Indy Paulus, Diana Weiss. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning. So at least I can see the chat, what's going on, and just say hello, everybody. It's kind of like I'm telling you, people. We turn around and we're trying to think of what do we talk about, and for me, it all runs together. It just, you could turn around and we could pull out a subject of anything. And for some reason or somehow, you can attach it to, health. You really can. But the connection is vibration. It really is. And so when I turn around and I look at everything that we're supposed to be talking about, even the fact of what I am and what you are, we're looking at vibration. The geniuses of this world, the smartest men ever to walk. Everyone thinks about Tesla, right? And Tesla says, hey, you want to understand the secrets of the universe? Well, I've got a secret to tell you. You have to think in terms of frequency and vibration. Wow. Okay. What the hell does that mean, right? And so then you look, I always bring it to Tesla and Einstein. Einstein sits there and explains theory of relativity. Did you know everything is relative? If you really start thinking about any mathematics that you start, it's relative to something else. And but he turned around and said, hey, in relativity, energy is the same thing as matter. And when you're looking at energy with the same thing as matter, and with a speed of light constant that people call the God factor, which is an energy frequency, then when you're looking at energy as us, it comes down to electrical and heat energy. And basically, then we go back to Reams, and who explained how to, instead of taking apart an atom, how to put it together, and how that we build healthy cells, and how everything is on a quantum level, electrical and electrical in nature, and it's all dependent on minerals to build it. And he explained the periodic table of elements, and how that number that's there for the specific gravity, or the mass, is basically explaining how fast that molecule is moving with regards to vibration. How many revolutions per second are going around that atom, and he turned around and explained that if you know the frequency, the diet. So then he gave us this beautiful equation that we all use at least I use, and I try to teach you to use, and I try to help you to understand it. So I shouldn't say we all use, but interestingly enough, Annie, I got a email that came on the 28th, and I was finally getting to my emails yesterday, so I'm a little behind, as you can see. And I got another email from Naturopathic Doctor News and Review, and they're putting together um, uh, a diagnostic book or article, and they're wanting me to write again because of our favorable review on that article about case in practice with bioelectric chemistry.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, do I want to add something to my plate? Is what that comes down to.
Yes.
But yeah, and so, but when we're looking at reams and we have this equation, we have this, that thing that's looking at sugars, pHs, conductivity, cell debris, and nitrates. Reams explained it as an aspect of potential energy with the sugars, the efficiency or the resistance of that energy. With the pHs, the conductivity is the ability of energy to get where it needs to be. And then the nitrates are showing you the breakdown byproducts of how we're able to eliminate waste and energy that way. So it's energy in and energy out. And I've talked about that. It's been a while, and we can always bring it back to that type of thing. But when we're looking at this aspect, we keep saying that word energy. And so when you're looking at energy, what does Einstein say? Energy is the same thing as matter. Okay, that's us. What does that mean? Heat and electricity. So you eat your food and you have to generate heat and electricity. And we talk about what's involved with that. Every time those molecules break apart, there's an electrical charge that's given off, electric activity. Every time that people call calories, we do calories, and Reams called those heat forming units. So when you're counting your calories, you're calculating how much potential heat that you can get from your food, depending on your body's ability to break it down. So when I'm talking today about vibration, we look at frequency. We're looking at what is frequency. And I want to tie it together with a couple, some people that have been out there in the past. And there is so much information that I have not dove into that I know is connected, because everything's relative. It's all connected. It's just a matter of who's explained the connection, and were they just dismissed as part of our, accredited, approved body of information that we're allowed to let people learn, as something like, nope, we're not going to go that direction? Or is it something that actually has some validity to it and some connections that can explain how you and I exist in this world, as far as the makeup and what we are, breaking it down to a quantum level of frequency and vibration? And that's kind of where, I'm not here to go completely philosophical, because sometimes I talk on those levels and people are like, Doc, where the hell are you? It sounds like you're out on a Cosmo by yourself and you're really looking at things. Go into the light, Doc. Just be happy, but no, there's some amazing stuff that have been observed over the 100 years ago almost, that I just think that needs to be brought back to light. Let me look here. Indy Paws, I've been thinking about using vibrations to germinate seeds to help them grow. Any thought? Hell yeah. Just not the vibrations that you don't want to use is Wi-Fi. There's a study done. It was a school study done in Norway, I believe, about 3 to 5 years ago. And these kids decided to create using Wi-Fi to germinate seeds. And they created an area where they completely protected seeds from any Wi-Fi frequencies from being around them. And the other ones, they put them in the same room as the standard frequencies of Wi-Fi. And the seeds that were exposed to Wi-Fi didn't even germinate. The seeds that were completely away took off. They showed that the vibrational frequencies associated with what we're exposed to every single day affected the ability of seeds. So if you want your seeds to germinate, you need to look up solfeggio frequencies. I think it's Solfeggio. I think that's solfeggio. And solfeggio, there's 9 frequencies: 396, 432, 520, 529, or 528. And there's 917. I can't remember all of them, but there's 9 frequencies, and those frequencies are resonate. They resonate. The whole principles of resonance is that you could take, and you're harmonizing from a particular frequency, and those solfeggio frequencies are known to resonate with human life. Interestingly enough, the original tuning by when Bach and Mozart and all those, and Beethoven, and they created that incredible music, the original tuning was the at 432 hertz, was in the solfeggio range. And then in the 1930s, you can go back and look that Rockefeller made the suggestion that we change the tuning of music to a standard 440 hertz. And so what you did is you slightly threw frequency of music out of kilter that harmonizes and resonates with the human body. So no longer are we listening, let's just say theoretically, we are no longer being exposed to vibrations that are in resonance with the human body. Now, there were some people who recognized this. One was John Lennon. Go listen to the song Imagine and play and get a tuning fork of 396 hertz. And if you go back to Tesla says, hey, there's magic in 396 and 3 6 and 9s. But he said 396 was a magic number. And so if you play 396 hertz and then you play John Lennon's Imagine, guess what? It's in tune. Interesting. Song. Why do people like that song? Why do people vibrate? So Lennon knew about this aspect, and it was incorporated in a lot of the Beatles' music. Did they just make it big because of good vibrations? Think about it. Annie, why are you laughing? I'm going to read these people's quotes while you turn around and take over for a minute.
See, but I don't have lots of things to say like you. You blow our minds, and then you're like, and what do you have to say? Well, I can't think now.
55 degrees in Florida. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it'd usually be 70s. We almost got to 30 this morning. This sounds like a great show subject. Thank you, Leah. Carolyn, good morning. Oh, Carolyn made it on time. Hey, Carolyn, I'm glad you made it. And I just like busting your chops because you always put a quote in here about not being here on time. So I hope things are going well. When it comes to electrical energy, I love the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant and Eileen McCusiak. I don't know that. I might have to check that out. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Jackie. I'd love to try that experiment. Lauren Jones, good morning. I hope those dogs are doing well. That our canine product is coming out probably next week, by the way. For vitalometry, we created a canine telemetry for people, for their dogs, simply because it worked. My dog, Clara, is on the box, was my dog, and just a beautiful story. Annie, you gave it to your dog.
Oh, yeah. He acts like a child. It's crazy. He'll be 11 in May, and he will wake me up at 1, 2 in the morning to play. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, so it's give wonderful. Your dog this stuff and let him be childlike. Okay, so when you're doing germinating of seeds, go back and look at solfeggio frequencies, and there's actually solfeggio frequency music all over YouTube and also on Spotify. And so when you're trying to meditate and you want to really find yourself, and just be still and know that I am according to God, hey, get still, hear the voice of God, and, feel those inner convictions and just know who you are. And love yourself in the process and let God love you through it. It really helps if you have solfeggio frequency music on. It really helps if you have binaural beats. That's another thing to look into. binaural, binaural. And what you're doing is changing a beat frequency, a vibrational force that's going in your ear. So the work of the Monroe Institute was looking at frequencies, to where if this ear is listening to, say, 212 hertz and this ear is listening to 220, the subtle differences, most people probably couldn't tell that it's different, but the brain can. And the brain says, hey, there's an 8 beat per second or 8 beats per minute cycle that's off. It's off by 8 hertz. And so the brain will put in a frequency that you don't even hear if you're listening to one at a time. They call them binaural beats. And you can adjust the binaural beats by the differences of the tones in one ear versus the other. So ideally, when you're listening to binaural beats, you have a headset on. And so that binaural beat brings you down, it's called a beat frequency. And you'll listen to the music and you'll hear this little boom, 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 this kind of beat. But if you listen to one side, like, I don't hear that. You listen to the other, you don't hear it. But if you have both on, you'll hear this little beat in the back. And that resonates with the human brain. And so when we talk about beat and frequency, your brain has various frequencies, right? And when we're highly active and you're talking with Dr. Misak and he's just running his brain like this and he's going 100 miles per hour and you're trying to keep up with him, he's saying what he's going on. He's in that total beta phase. Let's go, bud, and do something fun today, right? But after you get Dr. Misak to have a glass of wine, hey, he might slow down a little bit and get into a conversation. Hey, let's talk, man. I've got some good things. I've been hanging out. And then you can turn around and you drop into that alpha phase where you're chilling, man. I'm in that good mode, and we could be in this mode. But then if you start listening to some good music and you just start getting into it a little bit, sometimes you can drift off but not sleeping, but just drift in mind, right? How many of you do that? How many of you daydream? Like, you're just drifting and like, whoa, you have those. I should write my dad that letter. I never wrote it. And, those thoughts that come in your mind, like those epiphanies, like, why didn't I ever do that? You just beat yourself up in the back of your head and you had these epiphany thoughts. Your brain's getting into that exploratory phase, and that's theta level, and they do it by speed. Like beta's like this, hey, let's go, and alpha is kind of like, I think beta is like somewhere between 15 to 20 hertz. Alpha is somewhere between like 10 to 15. Theta is somewhere between 5 and 10 hertz. And then delta is like 3 to 5. And delta is this really slow brainwave pattern. And that's when you're sleeping. But if you truly practice meditation, you can learn to go into a low theta, high delta, where you're basically sleeping, but you're not sleeping because you're aware. And so, and from a meditative standpoint, some people, what's that called? Where you lucid dreaming, where you actually can become part of your dream because you're aware you're in the dream state and you can guide your dreams. Wow, people, that's really deep stuff. And it really is true stuff. Be careful when you're experimenting with it, though. You really just, know who you are, and you got to know yourself through meditation. And that's the whole part of it. Don't just believe. When people talk about hypnosis and stuff, you're bringing you to that low theta, and you have some guiding voice. And just make sure that the guiding voice is trusted and it's not telling you to do something. It should be, people who do hypnosis can be, why don't you explore that? Where, and in asking more questions versus more of, you will now jump up and down and flap your arms like a chicken, and people used to do that on stage and they'd watch them do it. And then they'd realize that they weren't even aware of it because you're tapping into that subconscious mind, and it's all vibration and frequency. It really is. Let me see. Do you think there's an association with the magnetic field? Yeah, hell yeah, there is. Earth magnetic field is, okay, here's another one for you. It's called Schumann resonance. That's one for you to look up. Schumann resonance. And I think it's SCHUMANN resonance is the frequency that the Earth emits. 7.83 hertz. Wow. Wow, that's right in that nice theta level. And you can measure Schumann resonance like if you're at a beach or somewhere, but when you come into a city and you have all this electromagnetic chaos, you can't pick it up. So that's why a lot of people find peace at the beach, right? Or peace when they get out into the nature and everything's quiet and they hear the, going out and connecting. And so there's books out there about foresting and connecting and how it helps us. It helps our blood pressure. It helps our cholesterol levels. It helps our mental well-being, that we're connecting with this planet because we're getting to quiet places in that Schumann resonance. Well, guess what? There's an article out there that says that the brain functions optimally at 7.83 hertz. Is there a connection with this planet and us and how we're supposed to vibrate? Yes, no, maybe. So, I had some notes here, and like Darius Dimshaw. This is an incredible book by Let There Be Light, and why, the practical manual for spectrochrome therapy. What the heck is spectrochrome therapy, Dr. Misak? That's light therapy, people. And today we're going to talk about light therapy because light is just a frequency on a vibrational pattern. It's in an array of vibration, and based upon the vibration is what color light comes off. And here's a whole book on specific. I have even notes in here. I forgot about these. And so, there's a whole book that says, wow, if I have chronic nephritis, chronic kidney inflammation, lemons. And he had, which is a color lemon, he's referring to yellow, and he had a frequency of 22, and magenta, a frequency of 66, and scarlet, 70, or magenta number 69, if the blood pressure is too high. He was showing that specific frequencies of light by turning light into a specific frequency. I don't even know if I can buy something that can do this anymore. If anybody has a connection to somebody who can generate an LED panel and where you can dial in the frequency of light that you want, let me know, because I have incredible ideas of how that could be used therapeutically by incorporating such things as this, because there are currently people out there who do light therapy and they have their own, dial in patterns where they run specifically light colors and stuff like that. Even our sauna has color light therapy where each color is representative of, to promote healing, well-being, or versus mobilizing circulation. Why? Because it's all frequency, vibration, and color and light, and it affects you and I. So what if we had the ability to create a light pad or 3 of them and put them over your chakras? Hey, let's put one over the eye chakra, over the solar plexus, and over the pelvic chakra. And what if we adjusted those frequencies over specific lights based upon what you have going on? Sounds like a great experiment. I don't have time. I'm busy, right? What are you laughing about?
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Pine Tree says he has a Disha book. I said it wrong, I don't know. And a spectrochrome.
He has a spectrochrome?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where'd you get it? Where did you get the spectrochrome? Email me, please. Okay. I was hypnotized once. I didn't believe in hypnosis before that, but I understand it better when you talk about the frequencies. Yeah, what you're doing is you're bringing the brain down to a relaxed state to where you have the ability to drift in and out, not fully go into being asleep, but a voice is there to guide you. And so, if you look at the aspects of hypnosis, the father of hypnosis was Milton Erickson. And there's a book out there that says by Milton Erickson, I think it's Let Your Voice Be Known, or something about voice or whatever else, or My Voice Goes With You, or I don't remember. Look it up, Milton Erickson. But bottom line, Milton Erickson was stuck in a wheelchair with polio. And he used his mind and said, no, I'm not stuck in this wheelchair. I'm going to get out. And guess what? He did, by tapping into that subconscious aspect. So what is your potential in regards to what your mind believes that can happen for you? Because that belief, oh my God, let's go to the healings with Jesus. Oh, if I could just touch his cloak, I'll be healed, And then Christ goes, who touched me? Disciples go, everybody, God. I mean, they all want to touch you. He's like, no, I felt power leave from me. Why? Because when she admitted to it, he's like, your faith has healed you, because faith is the evidence of thing not seen, but believed it. They know it's going to happen with conviction. What do you believe about your health? Oh, I've got a headache, and then tomorrow I'm gotta go to work, and I gotta get up, and my headache's gonna be there again, and yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Stop laughing at me today, Annie. I can't go with this.
Perfect.
What are your beliefs? What are you writing about yourself? Annie's keeping a future journal. You want to tell us about it?
I did. I did it 3 times this week. I'm trying, it's not easy, but it works. If I can bring my thoughts up, I do way better throughout the day. But it's hard. I need to Wim Hof. I gotta get a reset. Story of my life.
So, belief, people. That's a huge one. That's another thing that just goes into, if we look at the aspects, what is the spoken word of God created everything. The source field hypothesis, or the source field, is it? Yeah, I think it's the source field by David. What's his name? Oh, I'm blanking. See, I can't remember everything, but the source field hypothesis, and they're looking like what holds us all together? What's the connection? And there's an energy that they can determine that's coming from a planet that's actually affecting you and I, that's light years away. And what is that energy? What's that connection? God, in and of all things, the beginning and the end. You're made in his image. So what are you? Energy, frequency, vibration. But then we were formed from this soil. There's like 2 creations. Go back and read it. Hey, let's. He doesn't say, I'm going to form people in my image. It says, let's form them. So you're already saying that in the beginning, the Word was there, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And, the Bible, people, it tells us everything we need to know in that regard. You are frequency and vibration. If you believe, all things are possible through Christ. You want that mountain to move, tell it to move. You're speaking a vibration, and that vibration, God gave us authority over this world. Speak it out. Change your life. Put some sticky notes on your mirror in the morning. Oh my God, you're beautiful. You're perfectly healthy. You look better every day. Isn't that what you should be telling yourself?
Absolutely.
Think about it. You're speaking that out. Tell those mountains to move. Believe that they are, or believe that God's going to put somebody that's going to give you the information that you need in order to make it happen. The world will change around you as long as it's all belief, people. What am I needed for then? Think about it. So there's so much I wanted to talk about. How much time do we have left? Wow, we're only halfway through the show. Huh. You guys enjoying this? Am I ranting and raving today? Is this too much?
No,
am I talking about stuff that just like, Doc, you're just, I want to understand the cell. How does that affect my cells? I've got Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and just tell me what to take. Right?
That's half of it. You have to have,
People,
I think you have to have hope for healing. If you don't have hope and that energy flowing, that, that expectation that it's going to change, then it won't.
so here's an interesting chart from the 1920s. And if you look, you have radiant energy on one side that says alkaline, and then you have acid on the other side, on the left side. Well, that correlates with right spins and left spins, which is anionic and cationic. And you go on here, and all these little things in here are words that are minerals. We can read, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, ytterbium, thorium, and then you come down and it was correlated with the keys of a piano. Interesting, right? And then they correlate with the keys of piano that this is associated with the key of G, with C, with B, with A sharp, with A, with G sharp, with G, with F sharp, with F, with E, with D sharp, with D, and how each one of those resonate with particular minerals. And in association of which ones are acid forming or which ones are alkaline forming. So here's something from the 1920s, and then the bottom, rainbow colors, double blue, red, yellow, blue, white, transparent. They're connecting it to the vibrational energy of light and color. It's all connected. This is when 1920s is when science was science, people. That's when Einstein came out with theories of relativity and quantum aspects. That's when Tesla was telling us that everything is associated with frequency and vibration. That's when Blavatsky created a multi-wave oscillator, and he found between 1930 and 1941 that he had a 98% cure rate with terminal cancers by running thousands of frequencies of people through people, and based on the principles of resonance, they would resonate and it would increase their body's ability to overcome things. Arthritic complaints, skin conditions, chronic debilitating cancers. Reif himself, Reif, if you go back and look at Reif, he didn't just say, let me run my frequencies through you and kill you. He said, no, a body that is pH balanced is a body that's going to defer disease because you're changing the internal environment. And what is pH? When you're looking at Reams's equation, Ream says pH is a measurement of resistance. So the more resistance, the slower things go. The less resistance, the faster things go. Well, speed is a representation of what? Frequency. We've already talked about that. It's all connected, people. There are so many things that we don't use. So when people are using tuning forks for healing and you're like, oh, that's hokey pokey. It's really not. Are they using the right ones? I don't know. But there are specific tuning forks that are suggested to help tune in specific points on the body, which Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine have noted for 5,000 years of these chakras and how energy moves through us. And like, oh, that's Eastern stuff. I can't touch that. That's too new age for me. New age, it's older than, it's near the dawn of time that man recognized how energy was moving through them and where these centers were and how they could visualize and see things. And how did they build pyramids, people? Maybe they just moved those stones and cut them with their own minds. I suggest that the Watchers gave us information that they weren't supposed to, and God destroyed all living things except for Noah and his family in the process because he didn't want that information because we weren't ready for it. I don't know. But you can turn around. And so when I'm turning around and looking at people's issues and looking at things from a standpoint of, oh my God, my battery's about dead on my phone and I'm throwing my phone down. But when I'm looking at somebody's concerns, what number of that equation in RBTI has the most profound influence on you? It's pH. If the urine pH falls in line, the other numbers will follow. But the urine pH will not fall in line unless you have sugar regulation and control. You have to control your sugars. You can't do this spiking all day long and eating foods that spike it up or crash it, and not drinking enough water and keeping it too high, because there's oxygen availability and all that other stuff. And then we can turn around and turn it into cellular concepts, which is where medicine seems to be stuck. But there is good information out there in regards to frequency and vibration that's being done, but it's not being tied and connected with medicine, at least for you and I to know and benefit from. Annie found a really cool article today. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And it was on oscillations and vibrational aspects of minerals. I'm like, oh, there's something else I need to study and read. You know, hey, all of us right now, let's be of one sound mind and say, Dr. Misak is, you know, in the name of God and Jesus Christ, let him hit that lottery that's $500 million right now and invest to change the world and teach this stuff to people and put people on making these connections. And let's change our world. Let's change our aspects of our soil. Let's change what we have as an option to us for health. Why am I in this position? I don't know. Why am I here to teach this stuff? Why does it stick in my brain the way that it does? I don't know. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy. Annie's laughing on that one too. See, she knows it.
Not at all. It's good crazy.
Oh my, Annie, it just lost the my phone just when I dropped it. I could see myself ranting, but I can't see the chat anymore.
A little down arrow you can hit.
Little down arrow you can hit. No, not getting it.
Lovely.
You're going to have to help me with the chat. You want to come in here and grab? Oh, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
Got it. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, pine tree. Distill water with colored filters set in the sun. Then drinking the tonated water is something Denshaw's son was advising to do if you didn't have a spectrochrome. That makes sense. But the color of the filter that you're using needed, if you think about it, needs to have the right tone to create the right vibrational frequency, although you're using light energy to do it. And the light is on a spectrochrome itself. There's a spectra of light. When you use far infrared sauna, you're actually using 9 to 15 nanometers, I believe, that are in vibration with the human body, that penetrate the human body and cause vibrational energy. So far infrared is light energy that's penetrating you and causing this incredible metabolic activity to stimulate you to detoxify and have this type of thing. So yes, but I would think that that those filters and the pigments or whatever's used in those filters have to be tuned in. That's why I believe that you can have LED lights and the panels of LED lights that can, and as long as you can create a way to tune in to specific frequencies that run through that light to generate the light associated with that you could create an incredible healing device. If you turn around and pull the work of Denshaw and the stuff that I'm showing you, that we could turn around and say, hey, this is associated with these mineral deficiencies, and it's suggested that frequency enhances that mineral utilization in the body is the connection. You guys get that? That frequency and vibration can enhance your body's utilization because it's resonating. And Reams taught that if your pH is outside of 5.3 to 7.2, that minerals don't work. Why? Because they can't resonate. See how it's all connected? Annie's got that smirk on her face again. God designed us to have that potential. Yeah. The potential of perfect is in all of you. Totally in all of us. I don't want to get there. The lifestyle that it would take to have perfect numbers and the people who have claimed to do it, you know, one of them's dead. that I know for certain. Diana Weiss, your message was retracted. Are you saying something about politics right now? Did you say something about fraud? Oh my God, don't use that word. We're going to get shut off. Where can we get that chart? I don't know. There was a guy, there was a whole aspect of, I got this from a guy from a book that was imprinted in 1920s, copyright 1922 actually, by Dr. M.E. Yergin, Yergin. So if you want to look up Dr. M.E. Yergin from Chicago, Illinois, Yergin, and see if you can find connections to this. There was a whole philosophy that came out, and I lost it, and I was trying to look for it today, on somebody who used Yergin's work and presented a whole connection from the 1920s to 1950s of a mechanism of healings using vibrational frequencies and this information, but modern medicine just threw him out. And he's still on the internet. I just couldn't remember his name, and I'll find him again. Let's see. Marty D, love it. Where can we get that chart? I believe to believe is rest, unbelief is stress. I like that. To believe is rest, unbelief is stress. That's true. Awesome show. God puts you here for such a time as this. Time as this, people? Why? What a crazy, screwed up place and time to be in. I got stuff to run my numbers. I have to look at a video to figure out how to do everything. I hear there's a video on the Doc Misak channel, and it was called Testing and Testimony. And he showed how to do that video, how to run your numbers. And there's another one on his channel. It's a whiteboard ad, shows you how to run your numbers. Check it out. I think you'll like it. And then put your numbers on here, and I'll tell you what I think about them. Has anyone heard of the Healy? Yeah, what you're looking at, Healy is a variation of a Rife machine. And so, if you look at the aspect, I've talked about testing, and everything to be analytical, and how I like electrodermal testing, EAV, electroacupuncture by Vol. Why? Because we're measuring electrical activity at our acupuncture points. Well, that sounds hokey pokey. That's that Eastern stuff. Well, that Eastern stuff has been, I talked about, over 5,000 years that they're turning around and saying that energy moves through us. And then this doctor in the 1950s who was going to die of cancer turned around and said, hey, if I get needles stuck in me, I can get healed. And he did. And he's like, okay, why can't I heal this from a traditional standpoint? What's in this energy medicine? I should be able to measure it. And so Reinhard Boll came up with the genius activity of measuring electrical activity of a galvanic current at your skin at acupuncture points. And he mapped out the human body exactly like the Chinese did, with measured accuracy of that, hey, energy does move through our body, and where they identified it, they're right. And so measuring those points, stressing those points, we're finding that where those points are in balance could give insight as to what's going on. Another analytical perspective, fully discredited by the AMA. So we take a moment to, what's our disclaimer, that we are not here to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. And anything that we say is not here to slander other such beliefs that are taught to you as propaganda, the only way that you're supposed to think. And now let's just give college away for free and indoctrination centers to make you think a particular way. Oh, I have one, and it is a device that scans your energetic field and can recommend and give electro-frequency treatments. It can also show nutrient deficiencies with its scans. So what they're saying with nutrient deficiencies is they're scanning you for frequencies that are associated with nutrients. And what those things can do is decide whether they're getting, it's like pinging a computer. I'm going to send out a ping, and if that is there, it's going to ping me back. And they're pinging you to see if that nutrient is pinging back a signal that's consistent with it being an issue or not, is the way I understand it. And then they turn around and they're giving you a frequency in association with that mineral. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Did I just make a connection? Oh, is there something here from the 1920s that says, here's another chart that says, wait a minute, if I give back this frequency, I can put magnesium in my body by playing the key of B and being a frequency of 976.54 hertz. If I put that in me, is it going to help? That's what the Healy and these type of things are doing. Let's give the frequencies back that are showing that they're not pinging, or that they're showing that they're not measuring when they ought to be. So they create what they believe to be an ideal, and they're looking for where the ideal is not met. Let's give that back at you. And that goes back to Rife. Rife turned around and he said he connected on a cellular level with pleomorphism. What's pleomorphism, Dr. Misak? Pleomorphism is that bugs are in you and me, and since the 1920s and 30s, they said for every cell of your body, you got 10 bugs in you. And those bugs have resonant frequencies. And if your inner terrain is out, these bugs will change based upon the terrain and overgrow, and they cause and are associated with certain symptoms. Oh my God, the germ theory. You've got bugs. We got to kill them. Let's keep our powerful antibiotics in control because we don't want resistance. So when you're looking at this aspect, Rife said he recognized that imbalances of frequency, and he found what's called mortal oscillatory rates, more frequencies. Let's run these generalized frequencies from you because they're good vibrations, people. They're going to resonate with you. And if you go back on my Rife machine and you run Morse frequencies, you kind of like, you drop into that theta state and just chill. It's like getting high. I wouldn't know what that's like though. And so you turn around and you chill with this, and he's smirking again, and you're chill with this, and you're resonating with your body to enhance through resonance your body's to say, hey, I like that frequency. I'm activating. Woo! Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah. I'm going to stay right there for a while. And the thing is if I get that cell moving again, does it stay moving and start a healing response? That's what Lavotsky said. And that's where Lavotsky's multi-wave oscillator. Oh, I got one of them back there too. I love to eat my lunch while sitting on it. And that's where Lavotsky turned around and said, hey, let's charge you up. And what that does is it gives your cells more strength, but your cells overcome the frequency associated with those microbes and it kills them. Whereas Rife looked through a microscope that he made with prisms, and he would adjust the frequency going across the microscope 1 hertz at a time until he watched those microbes vibrate and go boom, and they'd explode because resonance causes vibration, and then the cell membranes of the microbes couldn't take the vibration and it would destroy them. And so he was killing bugs by running specific frequencies. So we have Rife machines. They're here to use for free. But if you kill a bunch of bugs in you, you can cause what's called a Herxheimer reaction, where you kill a bunch of things and your body has to deal with that die-off response. And if your energy efficiency by looking at RBTI is crap, you're going to feel like super crap, including some people going to a hospital. And so you'll have people out there who teach about Rife frequencies and say, don't kill your patients. Don't run the frequencies on them too frequently. It's not a matter of how often you're running. It's a matter of whether they can tolerate it, which brings us back to RBTI to monitor and see if they're able to tolerate it. Oh my God, I just made another connection for you guys and telling you why RBTI helps us to understand what and how well you're able to tolerate whatever frequency or whatever therapy you're doing. It's a system of measurement. Have you heard me say this before? And now it tells you why I keep going back to it. It's not, I mean, so many people have given Reams and put him on such a pedestal that you have to do it Reams's way. Only do it. Well, if you're not doing what Reams said and you're using homeopathy, that's not RBTI. If you're not doing what Reams said and you're using cell salts, that's not RBTI. If you're not doing Reams and you're doing some type of hydrotherapy technique, Reams never taught hydrotherapy. Reams never taught the use of whatever essential oils. But then they can't be healing because Reams didn't say it. Not true. But you can measure by looking at your RBTI numbers whether those things are healing to you or whether they're too stimulating to you. And I'll tell you right now, if you're in a bad set of numbers and you do Rife therapy and you have a load of viral and parasitic or bacterial load on you and you kill a bunch of them and you got crappy numbers and you cause all your body to have to deal with that crap, guess what? Those are the people who end up in the hospital. So if you want to come in and use my Rife machines and my multi-wave oscillator and my static generator and my Douglas coil and my violet ray and all these electrical therapies that I have for free, sure. But I say not until I say it's okay for you to use them, because I know that you could tolerate what they're going to do to you. Does that make sense? Annie's not nodding, so it must not make sense to anybody.
Of course it does.
She's just smirking a lot. Annie, remember we talked today, you got to talk a lot? Show's on you. Go.
Yep, it's not working out. I don't have anything interesting to say about frequency.
Tell me a frequency of your good habits.
Good frequency? All I know is that I can change it with breathing, and that's what I try to focus on. And then try to get in giant cold water. It's hard.
Oh, let me see. Excellent explanation. Well, thank you, Preston. Preston, I've never seen your name on my show before. I mean, you know, oh my God, we broke 30 today. We're at 31. Woo! People, there should be 1,000 people on right now. What a shame. Sherry Edwards. Work shows you how to use an audio sample from a person speaking, and you can see the frequency and the voice. Amazing stuff. Let me tell you, the coolest thing I've ever seen is they had this metal plate, and they put sand on top of it, and then they ran specific frequencies under the metal plate, and then the metal plate would create sacred geometry patterns. You look it up, people. It's on YouTube somewhere. You know, just look up, you know, I don't know if you look up running specific frequencies through, you know, sand or music making patterns in the sand. I don't know what you do, but I've seen this thing, and they turn around and they run these resonant frequencies, and, you know, where I have sacred geometry, you know, on my wall and around me and things. You know, we could talk about crystals and vibration. You know, why do crystals have specific healing potential with people? It is because there's a frequency associated with it. You know, every single one of you has your own radar. You know, how many of you every now and then have that sensation like, oh my God, I got to get out of this elevator. There's some toxic energy in here. Or, you know, or there's a particular person that you just can't be around and you've never even met them. It's just like, oh my God, what vibes are they sending off, you know? And all of us have the ability, because we're antennas. You know, we are frequency and vibration. Just rub your hands together and feel what's between your hands. And it's like, am I just pushing air in there, or is there really something electromagnetic that I can feel between my hands? It is. There's a frequency, and particularly if you have somebody beside you, you can find that at a certain point, you say you can do it. And if you really focus, you can bring that bubble into making it bigger, and you can feel it even further away. You can project it, you know, and that's how certain people practice Reiki and other things like that. This stuff is real, people, but there's not a bunch of Reiki gods. There's only one God. What do we got here? Don't forget your blue thumbs up. Thank you, Marty. I always appreciate that. Yes, I saw the patterns on a YouTube video. It's amazing, and so everything is frequency and vibration. And so Dr. Misak just got himself a new amp. It's a smart amp. So he wants to learn guitar a little bit more. I can play guitar, but I want to be a musician, because when I get music down, music is going to correlate with that little chart that I have over there. And I'm learning, and I'm getting tuning forks, and I'm going to tune my guitar differently. And, my office operations manager for Vitalometry is like, Doc, you need to just record some type of intro for your show and jam. I might do that one day. We'll see how it goes. But let's see what's going on. Oh, I just lost it. Okay. So I don't know. Where are we? 50. Oh my God, the show's over. 10:57. And so I don't know anything else to kind of talk about, because I think I kind of converted all this and kept it together today, and so the only thing that I would do is let's see here if this is back on. You enjoying this? Come on, Annie, get in. I think that's one to tune out on, people. We've had fun, I hope. I hope you enjoy these. I thank you for listening in. I don't know what else to do to be otherwise to be an entertainer with this stuff, because I got to try to keep this somewhat fun, because sometimes I'm studying this stuff and I'm falling asleep to it, but in reality, this is all good stuff. At least I hope you think so. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being there. Thanks for your positive information and feedback. Thumbs up, share these videos, tell other people, and